Christmas is a holiday widely celebrated in Christian world with its many traditions. It is also celebrated in South Ossetian State University. Students of the specialty foreign languages with the senior lecturer Diana Kocheva recreated the atmosphere of Christmas coziness and comfort, observing the traditions of English-speaking countries. In her report, the student Kristina Varieva, who are the Magi, moved her listeners to the time of the Magi. While discussing the report, a theory of the Scythians and the Alans having played a significant role in the history of the Magi was put forward.
The Magi were a priestly caste of ancient Persian Zoroastrianism and were revered by classic authors as wise men. It was their alleged power over demons that gave rise to the word magic. It is considered that the word Magi comes from Middle English magi, from Latin magi, plural of magus, meaning sorcerer, from Greek magos, and here we come to Old Persian magush. Auguste Aleman gives us the name of the Elenian commander Matorsha, which is translated from the Ossetian language as Thealas, that is one who is not afraid of anything. The word Magi came from a related Ossetian Persian magush. Drawing a parallel with Matorsha, in terms of the Ossetian language, we can say that magusha is the one who does not work, as it is clear from the root kus, gus, to work, where the sound k transforms into sonorous g, and who in those days could afford not to work. Only those who were rich and who had slaves, that is, kings and their entourage. If so, then, based on the fact that the Ossetian language is a Scythian language, it is possible that the Magi, or at least one of them, were Scythians. Knowing the cruel nature of the Scythians, it is not surprising that Herod did not dare to pursue them. But according to the official version, Herod had several reasons to fear the Magi and the repercussions of any action he might take against them.
An important part of the lecture was an American Christmas tradition of reading O. Henry's short story, The Gift of the Magi. Everyone listened with interest to the reader Diana Ditsoite.
$1.87, that was all. And 60 cents of it was in pennies. Pennies saved 1 and 2 at a time by bulldozing the grocer and the vegetable man and the butcher until one's cheeks burned with the silent imputation of parsimony that such close dealing implied. 3 times Della counted it, $1.87, and the next day would be Christmas. Tomorrow would be Christmas Day, and she had only $1.87 with which to buy Jim a present. She had been saving every penny she could for months with this result. $20 a week doesn't go far. Expenses had been greater than she had calculated. They always are. Now, there were 2 possessions of the James Dillingham Youngs in which they both took a mighty pride. One was Jim's gold watch that had been his father's and his grandfather's. The other was Della's hair. Had the Queen of Sheba lived in the flat across the air shaft, Della would have let her hair hang out of the window some day to dry, just to depreciate Her Majesty's gifts and jewels. Had King Solomon been the janitor with all his treasures piled up in the basement, Jim would have pulled out his watch every time he passed just to see him pluck at his beard from envy. White fingers and nimble tore at the string and paper. And then an ecstatic scream of joy, and then, alas, quick feminine change to hysterical tears and wails necessitating the immediate employment of all the comforting powers of the lord of the flat, for there lay the combs. The set of combs side and back that Della had worshipped for long in a Broadway window. Beautiful combs, pure turquoise shell with jeweled rims, just the shade to wear in the beautiful vanished hair. They were expensive combs, she knew, and her heart had simply craved and yearned over them without the least hope of possession. And now they were hers, but the tresses that should have adorned the coveted adornments were gone.
As always, at the thematic lectures of the English department, a surprise took place as well. The student Elena Gazita presented a portrait of O. Henry, painted by her.
Although I read these literary works several years ago, today it impressed me in a special way. Of course, this is a merit of Diana, who conveyed the story of Jim and Della to us. And listening to such kind of stories creates a Christmas spirit.
A beautiful Christmas tree playing with colorful lights of garlands, candles, lanterns, angels, owls, and many other decorations enveloped the audience with warmth and comfort.
At the Department of English, for the umpteenth time, we have celebrated Christmas. This time we marked it with a report on the Magi, a story by O. Henry and Christmas carols. As a part of a career guidance, the students of the Gymnasium Rochs were invited to spend this day with us, and I hope they enjoyed it, made friends with our students, and went from the university full of enthusiasm and satisfaction. Looking forward for the New Year celebrations, I'd like to congratulate all of you and wish you health, happiness, prosperity and success in the coming year.
Today, the freshmen of the English department presented us a very sentimental story, a very kind story, and if I can put it so, very Christmas story. I didn't know about the tradition of reading this story every Christmas Eve, but I liked it and I hope that becoming a student of the English department, I will follow it as well.
As a scene from the story, Della and Jean care for each other deeply, and the story shows their willingness to give up anything for each other. This is what Christianity teaches us. It's great that there were no instances wherein the characters faced a moral choice. The family knew what to do.
This most famous story by O. Henry, The Gift of the Magi, is something special. It is written by him to remind us about love and sacrifice, and not only on Christmas Day but ever. As a sentimental story with the moral lesson about gift giving, it has been popular for presentation at Christmas time. The plot and its twist ending are well known, and the ending is generally considered an example of comic irony.
Merry Christmas!